4 expert investigators are by the shores of Lake Michigan, where multiple UFOs have been sighted.
Wow, all of you.
Local witness Patty Donahue was entranced by her UFO encounter.
I'm feeling this peace that I've never felt before.
But her daughter Jennifer had a very different reaction.
I was covering my ears, screaming.
Now, aeronautics engineer Mike Barra is examining photographs that Patty took of a triangular UFO.
It's a bit weird. What's interesting about that is that the foreground's not blurry, which means the object is definitely farther away and it's moving fairly rapidly, and it's not because of the movement of the camera. I have an idea what those triangular shapes might be. There is an object called the Chinese lantern, which is basically a lantern that floats through the air that can, under certain conditions, be mistaken for a UFO. And if you're willing to cooperate with us, I'd like to test it out a little bit later. Great.
The investigators wait until nightfall to start Mike's Chinese lantern test.
Okay, Patty, what we're going to do here tonight is run a little experiment. I'm going to send Stephen and Maureen over across the road, over into the field where you saw the white triangle object coming from. They're going to launch off a few of these lanterns in a cluster. You guys have your flashlights and your walkie-talkie, right?
Right here.
Okay, let's go to it.
All right.
You guys getting over there yet?
We're way in the field.
So go ahead and get set up, and let's put 3 of them up.
Sounds good.
We're lighting up the first one.
Okay. Holding the base. Okay. Don't burn yourself. There we go.
Yeah, just be a moment, Mike.
All right. So we're ready.
Okay, on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right,
launch
they've gone.
That's good. Look at that. It's forming up in a triangle, see?
Despite the lanterns forming a triangle, Patty may not be convinced.
So, Patty, what do you think?
The lantern was moving much faster than the triangle.
Okay.
The coloring was off, and the triangle made sound where the lantern made no sound.
Okay.
So, did it look like anything? UFO?
I mean, it was an impressive display. There's no question about that. And I can see why a lot of people mistake them for some sort of object from a distance anyway. But Patty says it's not what she saw that night.
It had a triangle shape, but it wasn't the right triangle shape.
Early the next morning, Stephen and Daryl call on Patty.
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Lady, come on, come on.
Okay.
Ex-CIA operative Daryl Sims wants to examine the location and find out if the UFO left any evidence behind when it passed over the house.
I need to know, is this the exact spot you were standing where it was closest to you, above you? Is this the area?
It's close, yes.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do some testing. I want to check this area, and I'm going to go through this whole area and see if I can find something.
Okay, sounds good.
Daryl uses a Geiger counter to detect levels of radiation that are higher than normal. He believes that UFOs become radioactive when they are in space, and that they leave traces where they come into close contact with the Earth.
Normal background radiation will be just a click, click, click. But boy, when that radiation hits, you'll hear click, 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 click. That's interesting. Not normal. What I'm testing for is residual radiation, and I'm finding a radioactive trace here. It's interesting that this is the spot that she points out where the UFO came over is closest to her. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I found 3 traces of radiation, one where you were standing, and one of them at the edge of the house out here about where you pointed. And it's in line with those 2 trees up there and this one. And it seems to be leading that direction. When it disappeared, where was it in that tree line?
See where the long blue break in the clouds is with the blue sky? I'd say about there.
Patty saw the UFO coming from the direction of Lake Michigan and then disappear into the trees behind her house. Daryl is developing a theory about where the UFO could be hiding.
If I were going to hide the UFO and I didn't want anybody to see me after I made myself completely known to the world in the air, but I wanted to get out of Dodge and not let everybody know where I was at, I'd want to find a body of water to hide. UFOs seem to like water simply because it's a great place to park. Some people say it's space, but if you're already here, it's probably underwater. My next question to you, young lady, is there a body of water back there?
Yes, there is.
Lake Michigan. Over the last 60 years, there has been ever-increasing UFO sightings over the lake. Now, the 4 leading UFO investigators are in town to discover whether aliens are behind this UFO activity and to gather evidence from local residents. UFO journalist Maureen Ellsbury has background information on the case.
So something really mysterious is going on both in and around Lake Michigan. Hundreds of people are sighting strange objects, and now it's widely becoming known as a UFO hotspot.
So how long has it been going on?
Well, in 1966, President Gerald Ford, who was then a Michigan congressman, asked for a congressional inquiry into sightings around southern Michigan.
Okay, interesting. Anything else since then?
Yeah, in 1994, hundreds of people called into 911 to report strange red and green triangles flying over the lake.
911, what is the emergency?
There is a huge line of lights going across the sky.
There's like something in the sky that's really crazy.
2 extremely bright lights look like balls of flame.
There's also been really terrifying events going on here. Over 200 ships and 40 planes have mysteriously disappeared since World War II. Look at this map. Each one of these red dots represents either a crashed plane or a sunken ship.
Wow. Okay, so what's the evidence that any of this is connected to UFO activity in Lake Michigan?
UFOs had approached aircraft before and attacked them. Maybe that's how some of these airplanes disappeared.
You know, Lake Michigan is a hot spot, but if there is an ET presence, I don't believe it is malevolent, and I don't believe that they're attacking our craft. But there is something going on there, so we've got to start investigating.
I agree, we need to get down to the lake. Do we have any witnesses there?
Yep, I've got them all lined up.
To gather evidence, Maureen has invited local residents from the shores of Lake Michigan to a meeting.
So the reason we're in Michigan is because we are currently investigating sightings in this area. I'd like to know who has actually seen a UFO or experienced any sort of extraterrestrial activity. Wow, all of you. How about you? What have you seen?
My daughter and I were doing constellations, and I got out the binoculars, and I looked through, and I saw a black triangle clearly.
Please tell me you got pictures or you got film or you got something.
We did not.
Sir, what about you in the hat?
I saw these 3 very bright, like, round lights. I'd say they're at least 5 times brighter than any star, and they all lined up, and then they stopped, and then streaked north.
Any chance it was fireflies 1.5 feet away from the car? And
Not a
mistook
chance.
it? Okay.
You know, if I thought there was a 1% chance of it being a mistaken, identity of something else, I would have never mentioned it again.
Okay.
I see this rounded, cornered, white, brilliant white triangle. Floats over us, and we're looking right smack up at it. It's less than 100 feet off. And so, my camera's running. So I take the lens cap off. I take a picture.
Tell me the pictures came out.
Pictures turned out really well. Turned out excellent.
Okay, great.
So you've got photographs and multiple witnesses.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd love to talk more with you.
The following morning, the investigators head to Patty Donahue's home to examine her photographs of the triangular-shaped lights.
fact that Patty says she's got physical evidence makes her case intriguing. I think it's worth a look.
Hey, Patty.
How are you?
How you doing?
Hi there.
This is my daughter, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Mike, did you also see this?
I did.
Oh, okay, great, great. So I guess what we would like to do first is get straight into where you were, what you saw, and just describe it to us.
Okay, right out here in the yard. I'll take you out here where
Okay.
I first noticed it.
All right.
That evening, I was taking pictures of the full moon, and out of the west over here, I saw a most beautiful white glowing triangle.
Was it beyond the tree line when you first saw it, or
Yes.
closer than that?
On the woods that go back
The
further.
ones away in the back there.
Way in the back, yep.
Is that Lake Michigan in that direction?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
As it got closer to the road, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I need a witness. And I just say, Jennifer, can you come out here a minute?
So, Jennifer, I got to ask, what was going through your head?
I was just like, it's a triangle, Mom. It's a triangle.
Was you scared?
I was terrified, and I
Really?
didn't see it like
Why?
she saw it.
Why was you scared?
It was like, to me, it was making like this awful, like loud noise. I was covering my ears, screaming.
She was just saying, oh, it's so loud. And I'm looking at her going, you can barely hear it.
So you weren't hearing what she was hearing?
No.
While Jennifer was shaking with fear, her mother, Patty, had an opposite emotional response to the UFO.
It's floating. She's covering her ears. And all of a sudden, I start laughing. And I'm feeling this calm and this love and this peace that I've never felt in my life before.
I've had contact experiences for 50 years. This overwhelming love, this feeling of calmness and euphoria. I recognize what you're saying there.
But you were scared.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I wasn't scared at first until it was getting closer, and the noise scared me more than anything, I think.
So it was just floating there, making noise or not making noise.
Right. And then I go, duh, my camera's around my neck. It's right over me and click, click.
So we can look at those.
Sure can.
Let's go do that.
For aeronautics engineer Mike, emotional accounts are not enough. He needs hard physical evidence.
Well, you know, I like Patty as a person a lot, but what I'm thinking at this point is that it'll be cool if we can either confirm or eliminate some of those photographs, just confirm whether or not there's something anomalous or whether it's something perfectly explainable. Okay, Patty, so the first thing I want to tell you is that I'm not here, none of us are here to pass any judgment on your sighting or anything. What we're trying to do is to consider possibilities and eliminate things that it can't be. Right. And that's the process we're going to work through here.
As well as taking a photograph of the UFO, Patty also used her camera to record the sound it made.
What I'd like to do first is I'd like to start with the audio track that you recorded of the object that passed really slowly over your property.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. Quite honestly, now that is what I expected it to sound like. If this were a military hovercraft, I would expect to hear a sound like that, sort of a jet engine sound or some sort of air propulsion system. Makes me a little suspicious that we're talking about a lighter than air military vehicle there.
Right.
It's an interesting sound, and I really think that's all I have to say about that one at this point. I'm not discounting it. I just don't have enough information to go on beyond that.
Okay.
Let's go on and look at the picture.
This is a triangle.
Okay.
This one went back and forth across the road.
Interesting. Wow. It's a bit weird.